Thanks for staying with us. A sure way to measure the key performance indicator of the federal government is in its efforts to renew the stock of the country's aging and inefficient infrastructure for the benefits of Nigerians. At this time of global recession and limited resources, any reasonable government must evolve fresh strategies for its infrastructural financing mechanism. Tonight on Dateline, Permanent Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing leads us into the ministry's efforts towards keeping up with the pace of massive developments of the Nigerian infrastructure. Stay with us again. Welcome to the previous segments of our program, Abuja Dispatch. And tonight we take on the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Works and Housing, BABANGIDA HUSSAINI. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for having me.
It is not open to questioning that your ministry is regarded as being pivotal to the successes recorded by the present administration. Now, before the last 6 years or within the last 6 years and now, what has been the changes you noticed in the political will of governance?
The narrative changed in so many perspectives regarding the incoming administration vis-a-vis what was the story before now. The funding itself, which is a critical element in the success of any project, has been enhanced now. Also, the focus and the determination of the administration to address the infrastructure gap, the political will, the relative freedom granted the Honorable Minister through the ministry to run the affairs of the ministry unfettered and unhindered is also a big plus. So all of this put together have created the enabling environment for the ministry to record the successes we are recording now.
Infrastructural financing is one issue that is very key to any government, and one would not want to know, how has the government been really funding these massive infrastructural renewal drives across the country? Of course, we know there is this huge budgetary allocations, but still funding is an issue that the government is really keen about.
You see, principally before now, the funding arrangement in the ministry has depended entirely on the national budget. And you know the structure of the budget, it is almost always tampered and affected by so many factors. So this administration from 2016 coming down the lane now has created a lot of funding windows, which are ingenious strategies designed to address the funding gaps. We have the presidential intervention funds. The projects are financed. That funding window finances the second Niger Bridge, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and the Abuja-Kano Expressway. These are all projects funded under the PIDF. We also have the Sukuk window. It's an Islamic product which is designed to provide a single-digit loan for the federal government to address these funding issues. We have a range of projects spread across the 6 zones of the country. In 2017, 100 billion was invested, raised from Sukuk and invested in the road sector. In 2018, 162 billion naira was expended, 100 billion naira. And then in 2019-2020, 162 billion naira was shared, prorated across the 6 geopolitical zones equally to fund these projects. Aside this, we also have the regular budgeting funding window, which has been enhanced. It is important to mention that before now, looking back to 2014-2015, 2014-2013, the total appropriated and released funds to this ministry ranges between 16 to 18 billion naira, which, looking at the infrastructural deficit and the explosion of the population and also the need to expand the frontier of our infrastructural base, is really a drop in the ocean. So really, this administration has done so much in terms of creating new funding windows which have supported the ministry to deliver on most of these projects.
There are still some notable federal roads that are, yet to be touched. But we noticed recently that there are ongoing works by the ministry in the federal tertiary institutions. One wonders, why this intervention?
Well, it is true. You see, you can't stop people from having their own thinking and their own plans. It is always normal and it is nothing to be contested. But the truth is, go to our tertiary institutions before now. Look at the conditions of the road. Look at the dilapidated conditions of the access road into those institutions. And then now fast forward to the present time. Why would anybody question investment in education? The quantum of development we are having today is a function of our investment in education. These are two drivers. And really, it is an all-encompassing thing. You cannot really just leave Ministry of Education and the few funding options that are available to it to address the issues of educational decay and infrastructure in the universities. In any case, roads are roads. The competence, the skill set, the requirement to do roads is domiciled here in Ministry of Works. So this is it. And then the Honorable Minister Babatunde Raji Fashola is passionate about having, an all-encompassing developmental agenda, which is dovetailed within the administration's developmental strategy. So for me, I think it is really something that we should be proud investing in the tertiary education and the institutions that are having these serious problems. And the consequence of this is that it has a cascading effect on the learning environment. You can see the performance of the students, and perhaps I'll leave that for the educationists to assess. And also the security element in it. The aesthetics values of the institution alone, if you go there, you have this sense of belonging to say, oh, this is what it should be. And this is how it was in the past. So really, we are just reinventing the wheel of progress to bring it at par with what it should be.
The question on the lips of most Nigerians is how the government, your ministry, determine what federal roads to be fixed. I mean, what is the priority? What are the considerations by the ministry to know, okay, this is the area we want to, fix now?
Okay, really, the way it operates is like this. Already this administration inherited huge backlog of federal roads that have not been completed. And really, those ones take priority over every other one. The famous ones we can remember easily is the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. You can also look at the second Niger Bridge, which has been a statement and a work in progress since the 60s and the 70s. This administration took it and is completing. As I speak with you today, the Honorable Minister was on inspection a couple of weeks back, and the performance and the progress is in the range of 80%. So we are hoping that by the end of this administration, that bridge will be delivered. So those ones take priority, the ongoing road projects that are considered a priority. The second one, of course, that normally the ministry, the key strategic road, the economic roads that open up economic corridors, that open up access to market, access to farms, access to industries, access to sources of raw materials. These are all economic roads that really takes also priority. And then, of course, you have those that are interlinking roads to open up the country. And this is what we are doing. So all of this put together are generated from responses we get from the people on the street, from the National Assembly, from the community leaders, from even the common man. They have all our numbers and they reach out to the ministry to say, oh, look, Honorable Minister, this is a critical road. Our bridge has failed. We are cut off. And efforts are being made to address such challenges. So basically, these are the strategy, the determining factors. But principally, like I said, is the completion of the ongoing ones. The Sokoto-Tombol road, which is about 200-kilometer road, was inherited and is being completed. We are just finishing the road furniture. Hopefully, the road should be completed in a short time and to be commissioned. So these are all areas that this administration, the Kano-Maiduguri Road Section 1 to 5, was awarded in 2003. This administration is completing it. In fact, except for the security issues around the Section 5 segment of the road, we would have completed that. But I can tell you Section 2, Section 3 are already done and completed. So these are all the determining factors. And a credit to this administration for this nationalistic position that it has taken to complete ongoing projects.
The effects of flooding has been massive in some parts of the country. Now, what are the mitigating efforts being put in place by the ministry, to curb the effects of the rains, particularly in those construction areas across the country?
It's quite unfortunate, and it's a thing of concern. Some bridges have caved in and given way. Some roads have failed. But then these are natural phenomena in any human endeavor, and we just can't run away from them. The only thing is to put in mitigating measures and to be on top of our game. And over the weekend, I was in sites in Bauchi State where a bridge failed, Bauchi-Darazo Road. On the instruction of the minister, I was out on inspection to see some failed roads. So we have 36 controllers in every state of the Federation, and we receive timely report from them online regarding the condition of our roads and what we need to do. And I think we are on top of the job, and inshallah it shouldn't be a problem.
The federal government has embarked on a housing program recently, and across the states of the Federation we have the impacts. What is the situation like now? Are you sure that an average civil servant, federal civil servants, can access the Federal Mortgage Bank and get his own home?
Sure. I can.
How easy could that be?
Very good. You see, we have a range of housing projects that not even the Federal Mortgage Bank, even the ministry, we have the National Housing Project, which hopefully by the end of the next month, the minister should be launching the web portal, and all the state houses should be offloaded for people to just choose and buy online transparently. So apart from that, the Federal Mortgage Bank, which is the primary institution for packaging and driving mortgages for civil servants, is actively working in every state of the Federation. We have the normal PPP funding arrangement with private developers who deliver these houses at very good and affordable rates. We also have the ministerial pilot projects. Already we have almost a couple of houses that should be completed and should be ready for commissioning very soon. So it is the responsibility of any civil servant who is interested in desirous of taking mortgage to approach his PMI to purchase the mortgage for him to buy into all of these projects. And it will interest you to know that the houses are almost done. Most of them, I was on inspection a couple of weeks back in some of our locations, and the infrastructure is done. The houses are being finished. So really it's about the information getting out there, and this is what we are doing. By the time the website goes live and the houses are offloaded, you will surely see a lot of interesting development in the housing sector.
Our guest tonight has been the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Works and Housing, Mr. Babangida HUSSAINI. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.